G'day and welcome back to the channel. Well, as they say in PBRC land, it's time. Okay, so you all should know by now, or most of you anyway, Phil at Poor Boys RC is running his Speedrun challenge again, and he has chosen the Grasshopper family of chassis. He specifically chose the Hornet, but as you know, the Grasshopper shares exactly the same chassis and rear end. So obviously we've got a bit of a head start on a few people, not a lot. I'm guessing if you're a collector of Tamiya cars, you've probably already got a Grasshopper or two. Some people don't. Bryce Arnold doesn't have one, actually. That surprised me. Before we go any further, let's just say Zach and I are a little bit under the weather, so just forgive any sniffling, coughing, sneezing, and general incoherent speech coming from me. We're working through it. So, let's have a look at what we got to choose from. So this one here is our Shell Queen Grasshopper. It's actually painted in pearl white. You can't see that on camera. And we've fitted all the period correct electronics in there. So we're going to leave that one alone because everything's brand new on that car. Candy green, what we lovingly call the crack hopper, for a few reasons. This has had a few hop-ups on it. It's got the oil-filled shocks, alloy wheels, sport tune motor. As you can see, it's taken a few tumbles and broken up a bit, but this is Zach's car, Zach's runner car. We're going to keep it the way it is. I've got a few things to fix. We broke a shock there, but we're not going to play with that one. The Hornet here, you can see, is in desperate need of some love and medical attention. Half of the parts are missing off this. The diff is actually broken. There's bits of plastic broken off it, so that's no good. We've got spare gears inside there if we need them. Which leaves us with our box to bash Grasshopper that we did on the channel a while ago now. So this is the one we are going to work on for the Poor Boys RC Speedrun Challenge for 2025. So let's get rid of all the rest of this stuff and have a bit of a chat about what we're going to try and do with this car. Right, so what are we going to do with this car to try to make it go faster? Well, it should just be a simple matter of putting a faster motor in, which we have. This is the motor we used in the MF01X for last year's Speedrun Challenge. It's the LRP 12 double. We're going to run that again, and over the last couple of months or so, we've been a little bit back and forth with Uncle Bob's RC about cleaning, tuning, brushed motors. He's put a few really good videos on how to do that, and one of his videos he explained how to adjust the timing on the modified motor, which we are going to try and do to get a little bit more RPM out of the motor. So that's our motor that we're running, the 12 double. We'll find out over time, over the next month. We'll do a few test runs if we're going to need a hotter motor, or we're not going brushless. We are staying in the brush class. I was contemplating going in the open class and using and buying another kit actually, and with the other kit and using this chassis. I was going to check it out with Phil first if it was actually legal, but trying to extend the chassis probably about 4 inches, just to give you that little bit extra wheelbase, a little bit more stability. I thought about it and I got no, because we're still not going to run, even if we went into the open class, we still wouldn't run brushless or lipo. So we're sticking to our guns. We were pretty happy with the effort last year using the Nemi battery. Don't know for sure, but unofficially, and there was no real big deal about it, but I think we had the fastest speed with Nimi from last year's Speedrun challenge, so that'll be cool to try and get to there again. Again, it means nothing, but you know, it was pretty exciting for us. And again, we're not in it to win it again. Last year we did it for fun. This year we're doing it for fun once again. Which is why we're trying to use whatever parts we have already. There are a couple of parts we need to buy, but really not many. So, where was I? Speed controller, we're running with the Hobbywing 1080. It's empty. That particular one is actually in our top fours, which I want to leave in there, so I'm probably going to buy another 1080 to power it. I have a battery somewhere. We're still going to run with the standard 6L Nemi battery. I wanted to run a 7-cell 8.4. It just physically won't fit in the chassis unless I mount it on top of the chassis, which that just induces more top end weight. It ruins your COG, your center of gravity, all that sort of stuff. So we're just running with the standard. I'll buy a new battery for the run like we did last year. So the standard Demi 6L, we're running with that brush motor. Now, already people are talking about gear options for this gearbox, wherever that broken one is. I don't know. Sorry. We've been looking and we can't really find many at all. What we have found is a adjustable motor mount, which again I'm going to have to check if that's legal with the rules for the brush class, and a 21 tooth pinion, which, you know, that'll give it a bit more top end speed. But people are saying there's heaps of options to gear these things up, so we're just going to have to talk to people and learn and see what is available and try and get those gears just to make it scoot along a bit better. Handling itself, really not much you can do with a grasshopper, really, is it? Unless you're entering the open class, obviously. Really looking forward to what some of the people do. But what we're going to try and do, I've already lowered the front end just a tiny bit. I'll put some rubber spacers in the top of the shock rods here. I lowered it enough so that there is a bit of camber in that, but I don't know if that's really going to hurt it too much. I hope not. If it does, I'll take these out and we'll sort something else out. Something else we have to address, if you can see that on camera, the amount of movement and play in these front suspension arms. We've got a plan for that. First up, all I'm going to do is try and use some heat shrink tubing over the pins that mount into the chassis and see if that tightens it up. It hasn't got a servo in it at the moment. We're going to run our usual 25 kilo servo. We've got a bunch of them laying around in other cars, so that's something else we don't have to buy. We are going to buy a high torque servo saver, so we'll have to find out what the right one is for that. Which probably means we're going to have to change from the 2mm steering rods to the 3mm steering rods, which we're going to have the same issue that we had with the quad hopper, which we've got to make steering rods. But that shouldn't be an issue. So that will be about it for the front end. Hopefully that'll tighten it up a little bit. That camber might be an issue, it might not, we'll find out. So, wheels and tyres. We are not running these wheels and tyres. These tyres are absolute garbage, for traction anyway. We have options for tyres. We're running the Brat wheels and tyres on the front, definitely, just for a little bit more stability. You don't really need a lot of steering control when you're going fast in a straight line, but hopefully a little bit more traction, which these tyres are not very good for traction anyway, but hopefully they should help. Rear tyres, now the diameter of these tyres a little bit bigger than the paddle tyres, but really no bigger than the spiked tyres on the Hornet. Obviously it's not a Hornet, but the diameter is around about the same, so you're going to get about the same rollout. We do have these tyres, again, absolutely terrible tyres that came off the Pajero. They do have quite a bit more rollout, so that'll be good for more top end speed. We did do a speed run with these on the crack hopper. What'd you get, 26 mile an hour with a sport tune motor, which I thought wasn't bad. So we're definitely going to have to glue them, because I could just spin that tyre on that rim with no effort whatsoever. But those are terrible tyres. Other thing we thought about is running Blackfoot rims with Blackfoot tyres. You've obviously got a lot more rollout with them, but same thing, not very good tyres. They're as hard as the proverbial. But we're going to try it. The other problem there is getting the car actually moving with the 12-turn motor and the big rollout, and the we're going to start off with the 18 tooth pinion until we can find out if that adjustable motor mount is allowed. I did toy with the idea of using the truck rims and tyres, but when these run, they go like this. They are not straight, they're not concentric. That's just going to cause issues if you're getting any kind of speed out of the car. Now, why we're going with the Grasshopper setup as opposed to the Hornet setup, as you know, one of the main differences is your gearbox pivot. In the Hot Shot, you've got this fixed pivot setup, and in the Hornet, this has got the Hornet suspension setup on it. You've got this rolling rigid. Everything's a bit sticky because we haven't really done much with this car for a while. You've got that rolling rigid suspension, which is good for when you're running around the track. It does help for traction. But two reasons we're sticking with the Grasshopper pivots. Here we go again. For one, you don't get that that gearbox slap that you do in the Hornet and the CWO ones and things of that nature. The other reason is, even with that chassis slap you get, when you're under full power going straight, you're not going to get that slap anyway, because it's just going to sit up in position and stay there until you back off. So I don't see any difference between running that or running this, except for you're not going to get that initial slap when you take off. So we're running with the Grasshopper pivots. That's what I forgot to get. They can stay up there for now. I do still have the oil-filled shocks off this Hornet. I'm going to rebuild them and put them on the rear, and I still have the mounts, the body mounts that go with the Hornet rear shocks and everything to make it work. So we're going to use the oil-filled rear shocks. We're just going to leave the pogo sticks on the front. I did contemplate setting up a like a solid front suspension with no suspension at all, but I don't think that's going to be a good idea. It's something we could try, but I don't think so. What else? Body, right. Now, Phil did say, especially in this class, well, in all classes, you need to run the chassis, right, the Hornet Grasshopper chassis. But especially in the brush class, and even the brushless class, I think, you do need to run a Tamiya body. But he did say you don't have to run the body that came with the car. So obviously we've got the choice of the Grasshopper body, which, as you know, is the hard shell, the styrene body, or ABS, whatever it is. So we don't want to bang that up like we did with the green one. So we're not using that. We thought about using the old Horner body, the election, you know what that's like, a lot stronger, a lot more durable. But really, how many people are going to be running either a Hornet body or a grasshopper body? It's a little bit generic. So the only other body we had as an option, actually we had two options. I thought about running the Lexan body, but I don't want to wreck that one as well either. I do think this is going to be rolled and crashed quite a bit. So the only other body we had is the A-Bath body that came off the MFL-NX that we used for last year's Speedrun challenge. So the wheelbase is a little bit different. It's still a Tamiya body, so it's still legal. Wheelbase is a little bit different, but we were never going to use this body for anything else. I'm really not a fan of Fiats anyway. So we're simply just going to cut out this whole rear section of the body here to clear the rear wheels and make up some body posts, mount that. We're going to paint it up in the Tamiya colours, the red, white and blue. Nothing to do with nationality of flags or anything like that. When you hear red, white and blue, people automatically think America, America. But if you have a look at the Australian flag, it's red, white and blue as well. UK. So nothing to do with the with flag origins or anything like that. It's just the Tamiya colours, the red, white and blue, which you see all over the boxes, and it's also the same as our channel stickers. So it's probably going to get blue around the bottom, obviously not around there because that's going to be missing, and then maybe a red on top of that, and then up the C-pillars and the boot, and the rest, the roof and the bottom's going to be white. That's about it. We're not spending a lot of time detailing the body. A few generic stickers, our channel stickers. We're probably going to do something to do with Poor Boys RC Speedrun 2025 on the roof. So that's the body we're going to run. Now with the Brat wheels on the back, it does have to sit up a little bit higher, and with these wheels it has to sit up a lot higher, and with these wheels on the Blackfoot rims, they actually sit out quite a fair way. So we had it sitting all set up this morning, we could just take these rear flares off, and the body will actually sit in between the two wheels like this. We'll make it look a little bit, you know, janky, but it's gonna be a goofy looking car when it's running down the road. But it should look alright. We're going to mount the rear wing on it. I'm not mounting any of the headlight buckets or nothing like that. We're trying to save weight a little bit. They're heavy cars anyway. So we're not going to actually do anything in this video with the car. We'll just post up updates as we're doing stuff. We've got a month to sort this out and do a few test runs and whatnot. So, and we're not really giving away any secret ideas or anything. There's nothing that we're going to do that nobody else is going to try and do anyway. And it's all about sharing and having fun. And if there's a few things that that we're doing that you haven't thought of, then maybe it might help you out, or maybe not. So for anybody who's actually going into the Speedrun Challenge, good luck. Have fun, because that's what it's all about. And yeah, let's see how fast we can get this little hopper going. So thanks for watching, thanks for your support. See you when we do something with it. Bye. Oh, and be excellent to each other.